Hello students, in this session I will be covering Annamalai University's Master of Business Administration first year subject uh, International Business, and in this session I will be covering Unit 6 Lesson 21 to Lesson 24, and Unit 6 is the last unit of this particular subject, International Business. Now, lesson 21, problems in maintaining quality of exports. Now, we are discussing about, in this lesson, we are discussing about the problems faced by maintaining or continuing or improving the quality of food or exports items while they are getting prepared and getting exported, and at the time of reaching the destination, how good the quality of the exported goods, especially the food items, ready to serve or other items that are getting exported from India to other countries. The value of the world food trade in 1997 was about US dollars 458 billion and is increasing every year thanks to the expanding world economy. So it's a 1997 statistics, but after around 20-30 years down the line, it has expanded to a greater extent. And US and all, the FDA, Food and Drugs Authority, has got very stringent US FDA regulations are very stringent. United States Food and Drug Administration has got very stringent examination procedures for testing the food exports or imports to that country. The toxicity and the consumption level should be satisfactory, and they should have a anything unsafe, unhygienic or adulterated food will face stringent boycotting of the exporter of that country. So these are the things covered in lesson 21. Now to lesson 22. Lesson 21 was a very small lesson. Okay, now to lesson 22, export regulatory documents. What are the regulatory documents that, or mandatory documents that required for exporting goods? Okay, once the goods have been physically loaded on board the ship, the exporter should arrange to obtain his payment for the exports made by submitting relevant documents. Okay, it's called sea export, okay, or maritime logistics exporting, okay, through water. So water transport from seaport to seaport. Submission of the relevant set of documents to the bank and the process of obtaining payment consequently is called negotiating the documents through the bank. Now, the first is bill of lading. The bill of lading is one of the most important documents in the entire process of exporting. It is a negotiable document. It is important because it carries with it the legal title to the goods shipped on board the vessel indicated therein. Besides, it is a receipt given by the shipping company for the goods loaded on a particular ship. So the shipping company issues the bill of lading as a receipt of goods on board the ship, and it is given to the shipper of the goods. So the receipt of the goods called as bill of lading is issued by the shipping company and given to the shipper of the goods. A bill of lading would contain a broad description of goods, the quantity of goods, the total number of packages, gross and net weight, the port of shipment, the port of discharge, the name of the ship, and the amount of freight paid. So the significant details of a bill of lading are the number, the date of bill of lading, and freight paid. The date on the bill of lading is highly significant, for it is taken as the date of shipment of goods and should therefore be within the validity date given in the documentary letter of credit. So commercial invoice. A commercial invoice is a document prepared by the exporter giving details of the goods shipped, their brief description, the shipping marks, the unit and total FOB, C&F and C or CAF value as the case may be, depending on the LC. LC is nothing but letter of credit, contract. The number and the date of bill of lading as well as the name of the ship carrying the cargo. Certificate of origin. Sometime import regulations of a foreign country may require that all import consignment should be accompanied by a certificate of origin, which states that the country in which products under export were originally produced and manufactured. This certificate of origin means that the exporting country should issue such a certificate that the goods exported is originated from that particular country. So some import country will require such a certificate of origin. Marine insurance policy, where the contracts will with the foreign buyer is on CIF, cost and insurance, or CIF, cost, insurance and freight basis. The responsibility for taking insurance cover against all risk of damage to or loss of goods during the sea voyage is that of the exporter, that is the shipper. On an application received from him describing the goods and mentioning the name of the ship on which the goods are loaded as well as the value of the goods for which the insurance is required, the insurance company issues a policy in the name of the exporter and endorsed in blank. So that is called as marine insurance policy. Negotiation. A complete set of negotiable documents is presented to the negotiating branch through which the documentary letter of credit has been advised, where the exporter has complied with all the terms and conditions of the letter of credit while submitting his documents to the negotiating bank. The documents are deemed to be clean. The letter of credit opened by the buyer through his bank, the opening bank authorities drawing a bill of exchange against which the payment will be made by the opening bank on behalf of the buyer, provided the terms and conditions specified in the letter of credit are complied with. So first of all, we should understand what you mean by letter of credit. So the letter of credit is issued by the opening bank. Opening bank is nothing but the bank of the buyer. So the buyer requires the letter of credit. Letter of credit is used for buying goods from the exporter or the exporting country. So the buyer is in the importing country. So buyer does not have money to import the goods from the exporting country or the exporter. So the buyer approaches his bank, which is known as the opening bank, and asks them to issue a letter of credit. And the opening bank, that is the buyer's bank, will issue a letter of credit based on the credit requirements and the application of the buyer and the creditor or the privileges or whatever this credit standing of the buyer. The opening bank will issue a letter of credit for a fixed period or for a rotational basis, and that particular letter of credit will be sent to the exporter's bank, which is known as the negotiating bank, and the exporter's bank will tell the exporter that for such an amount or a period or for a particular amount the letter of credit has been received. Now then, once the letter of credit is received, the exporter will ship the goods to the importer. Also, on the other side, based on the letter of credit, there are certain documents to be prepared by the exporter and submitted to the negotiating bank. Negotiating bank is the bank of the exporter. Now once the set of documents is called as the set of documents along with the letter of credit is entrusted with the negotiating bank, that is the bank of the exporter. The exporters bank, that is the negotiating bank, will give credit of the amount on the set of documents to the exporter. In turn, the negotiating bank will send or inform the opening bank, that is buyer's bank, regarding the receipt of the set of documents, and based on the amount on the set of documents, the opening bank will send the amount to the negotiating bank, and the negotiating bank in turn will send the set of documents to the opening bank. So the negotiating bank receives the amount and the opening bank receives the set of documents. And once the set of documents is received by the opening bank will inform the buyer regarding the receipt of set of documents. Now on the other hand, the goods will be reaching the buyer's port, and the buyer has to get the set of documents for releasing the cargo from the shipping company at the destination or the buyer's end. Now the buyer approaches the opening bank, that is buyer's bank, make the payment on the set of the documents and take hold of the set of documents. And after receipt of set of document, the buyer will take the bill of lading to the shipping company available in his country and submit or surrender the bill of lading to the shipping company. Then the shipping company, upon receipt of the relevant charges, will issue a container release order, container delivery order. And after getting the container delivery order, the buyer or buyer's agent will go to the importer or his agent will go to the port of destination and get the container released and take the goods inside the container, and the empty container will be given back to the shipping company. So this ends the export process. Airway bill. Airway bill is a document, a non-negotiable document, serves as a receipt for the shipper issued by the airline or the consolidator. The airway bill indicates that the carrier has accepted the listed goods and obligates itself to carry the consignment to the airport of destination. So airway bill is for the airline or the airways shipment, airway transportation. Certificate of weight. Foreign buyers occasionally require this document for control purposes. Delivery order, which I talked to you regarding shipment. So delivery order is issued by the shipping company at the destination to the buyer or importer of goods. Sanitary certification, etc. So these are the documents, are the things covered in lesson 22. Now you will get a question: what are the various export documents used for export, for the documents used for export? So like you have to write bill of lading, commercial invoice, certificate of origin, etc. you need to write. Now to lesson 23, export licensing procedure, CSR and sustainability policy, process and procedure. CSR is nothing but corporate social responsibility. Now, purpose of licensing: exporters are divided into following two broad categories: established exporters or newcomers. Now, quota licensing. Quota licensing is for every exporter of a particular good. There is a quota license given. That means the exporter is free to export any a particular amount of or particular quantity of commodity from that country. So more over and above that, the exporter cannot export. So in a particular period, example financial year or a calendar year. So for that purpose, the exporter can will get a quota for his export. Newcomers licensing. So newcomers also will get a license from the DGFT, Director General of Foreign Trade, which issues the exporter's license. And there are other licenses like canalized export, open general license, limited free licensing, etc. available. Okay. From every country, it should be understood that there are the central government of India will issue a unrestricted list of commodities and a restricted list of commodities. Restricted list of commodities means that the goods available in that list will not be able to or shall not be exported by an exporter. And unrestricted list of goods means the exporter can export any goods or as required from that unrestricted list of goods. And there are other areas. What are the things covered in detail has been mentioned. Okay, so these are the things covered in lesson 23. Now before we end, there is a CSR activity. CSR is nothing but corporate social responsibility and sustainability. So the companies have to provide funds or spend some amount of funds, a certain percentage of the gross profit or 2% of the average net profits of the company made during the 3 immediately preceding financial years has to be spent on the corporate social responsibility area. So it's a mandatory thing in among Indian companies or Indian Companies Act. Around 2% of the net profit should be spent on corporate social responsibility activities. So these are the things covered in lesson 23. You may get a question: what are the procedures involved in obtaining an exporter's license? What are the types of licenses available, etc. Now to lesson 24, the last lesson on this subject: export and import, finance and credit. There are various types of finance or short-term sources of finance by importer, by exporter, etc. So for importers and exporters, there are certain organizations, institutions, banking fraternity that will issue finance for the purpose of buying and selling. Okay. And there are commercial banks, export-import banks, that is Exim Bank, international financial institutions, private export finance companies, etc., who can or who shall provide loan facilities or advance facilities for the importer and exporter for their businesses. One such is the Export Credit and Finance System in India, ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation or ECGC Limited, or Exim Bank of India, etc., provides loans and advances for the exporter and importer. Export credit: after the shipment is made, the exporter sometimes will have to give credit to the importer for an agreed period of time, and he has to wait for the value till the expiry of the credit period. So the payment for the export will not be received at once. So the exporter has to give a certain period of time, certain days of time to the importer for sending his payment or making his payment. Post shipment credit. Post shipment finance requirement relates to the exporter needs after the goods are shipped till the actual payment therefore is received. Post shipment credits are also made available by the commercial banks against the security of approved shipping documents tendered against letter of credit. We have seen what you mean by letter of credit and the set of documents. So the set of documents needs to be received by the bank for extending post shipment credit. Post shipment credit is not, post shipment is nothing but the after the shipment is done. And short term, medium term and long term credits are the given by the Exim Bank, ECGC, Export Credit Guarantee Corporation or ECGC Limited, etc. Methods of export financing. Exporting tends to be more demanding financially than selling. Consignments are usually larger, lead times are longer and the risks are more due to which are difficult to control. And one thing is cash in advance. Advance will be given to the exporter by the financial institutions, that is banks, various commercial banks, ECGC, Exim Bank, etc. against documentary letter of credits and documentary drafts. Another thing is letter of credit, payment against or advance against letter of credit to the negotiating bank, through the negotiating bank to the exporter. So these are the things covered in Unit 6, Lesson 24. So you may get a question regarding what do you make cash in advance, documentary letter of credit, etc. Okay. So happy learning. Thank you very much.